I'm here at the lowest point of the farm, basically, doing a little well work. 2 years ago, I put in about 2,200 feet of PVC, which was no small feat, all the way from the house down that fence line, all the way down here to this well, and then way back there. I think I put in 13 spigots and just a bunch of other stuff. So the thing is, and that's great, it's all great. The thing is though, I didn't finish the project properly because I didn't stake the spigots. Meaning I didn't like put anything in there to secure it. And so it's just PVC coming out of the ground. And I knew this was bad because I've had this happen before. But that was a giant project and it took months and I was out of time and I just didn't do it. Again, this last December, or last January, so almost a year ago, we had that super freeze. And then I spent, another month repairing fittings and whatnot. So I've done no small amount of work on this. But the mistake I made, and this is like, let this be a lesson to everyone involved, is if you're gonna do something, finish it. Like, do it to completion. So I didn't stake T-posts on my spigots, and I didn't worry about like cow exclusion, which you have to, because they're gonna do that. There's nothing other than maybe cattle cubes or alfalfa. There's nothing a cow likes more than scratching his face on a spigot. Nothing. And so yeah, so if you don't protect against that, you're gonna have this problem. So this is the third one that's been broken. I've just fixed them. But so I was like, well, I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. I'm gonna finally winterize my pipes and get that all set up. And then I'm also going to, while I'm there, drive T-posts, tie them up with metal and that sort of thing. Okay, that's great. So it's cool that I'm being diligent and all, but I didn't do it originally when it was easy, right? And now the problem I have is that there's an underground line and it goes out for left and right. So the question is, where is it underground? And am I going to hit it with that T-post? And so I spent a lot of time fixing a line. I didn't film that because I was cursing at the time. But the second one in is where I hit PVC for the first time. Didn't realize it. This third one, I realized it because I heard the crack and the spigot fell. And yeah, because I didn't know, like, was I lazy and just put a T in the line straight up for the spigot, or did I come out 90 degrees and go up, which is what I should have done. Luckily I was lazy, but I thought I wasn't lazy. I don't know why. Anyway, so the reality is I had to fix 2 underground lines. And I would not have had to do that if I had just done the job right in the first place. So that's my lesson. Yeah, anyway, I am winterizing pipes. I'm almost done. I only have, this is actually the last big repair, is this guy here on this little old cistern. So I just have to like refit this, trim it off, and then drive a T-post. I happen to know that this is the end of the line here, actually. So I can just drop a stake right here and, tie it off and be done with it. And then I'll show you, I got insulation. I got to get in there and do that. That's going to be a pain. And then I have another spigot way out there. That one, however, is already posted, so it won't be that big of a deal. When you don't do it right the first time, you really pay for it. So anyway, that's the lesson of the day. My big worry is that I have another leak in that underground line that I won't know about until the lines are charged and a couple of days have passed and it's still like leaking out into the ground and I can see wet spots. And the reason I'm worried about that is because at that point mud will get in the pipe and your whole system gets really compromised. Like, it's never the same. That stuff will catch stuff, rocks will congregate in 90-degree angles, and like, it's really the beginning of the end. It's a pretty big concern, considering the damage I did to it today. Anyway, I was a fool. So, lesson learned, finish the job completely. I'm sitting here thinking like, well, where else am I not applying this principle? Well, I have a great chicken coop built with no roosts and no hen exclusion into the nest boxes. And I kind of considered that project done, and it isn't done. It's at 90%. So, you know, maybe that's something else I need to do, is really go back and think about my life and think about things I haven't done to 100%. Well, it's the next day. I didn't quite get as far as I wanted before the sun went down. I also ran out of tape. Yeah, I'm currently waiting for the cows to get to shade so they don't annoy me all day. And then I'll head back there, finish the pipe wrap up, talk a bit about that. In the meantime, I'm gonna sharpen a knife. I got a rooster that I'm gonna, the bonus rooster that's gonna get harvested soon. And I always struggle with a way to talk about that. Anyway, so I'm gonna sharpen knives. This is the Andrew Murray method, which I think everybody uses. This is my old bucket here, full of sludge water. So I was sharpening some knives the other day, and I was doing this one and ran out of time. So I like these old hickory knives. I think they look cool. They're pretty easy to maintain, but you have to basically reprofile the entire edge. I recently took a beef in a day class from Brandon Sheards, who's kind of like the, you know, the meat magician, Farmstead Meatsmith or whatever. And I realized that I had really never seen a sharp knife before. Like, knives are never as sharp as they could be. So anyway, when I went to his class, I think probably the most worthwhile part of it was seeing how sharp a knife could actually get. So I'll never forget what he said. You know Brandon, he's like a poetic guy. So he said, you must allow yourself the indulgence of a knife impossibly sharp. He said something, let's see. You must allow yourself the indulgence of a knife impossibly sharp, effortlessly cutting anything it touches, leaping to the task at hand, is what he said. Which is such a Sheards thing to say. The goal of a man, I'd never thought to like imagine a sharp blade, like so sharp it, you know, so sharp it can cleave truth from lies, right? Yeah, that's pretty good reprofiling. If you can see what I'm talking about. These old hickory knives, the very tip, you can see this is the part, you know, the machined edge here. It goes basically all the way to the tip. So you have to draw this secondary edge back. Like, you know, it starts like up here. So I've drawn almost 2 millimeters of edge down. And the goal is not to have a perfect blade. I think that's what I like. This is another thing Brandon was talking about. The goal isn't to have a perfect blade. You know, one that is jigged in 16.5 degrees from tip to tip. It's you're chasing like false metrics, right? Okay, so I finally got out here. Cows are shading themselves. It's hot, but it won't be for long. You can't trust your eyes. If you look around, everything is brown and vultures looking for critter's unfortunate enough to not have made it. I don't know if you can see him. Anyway, you can't trust your senses, because as it is 84 today, still and hot, this weekend it will freeze and a big storm will come through. When I say big, it's absolutely nothing compared to like what's happening in the Pacific Northwest. That is a storm to end all storms. I believe if someone came down here, they would, that was used to those conditions, they'd be in swimwear and sunglasses. Anyway, so I'm finishing weatherizing my pipes. I don't think this is very interesting, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how I do it. It has gotten me there in the past. This is basically it. Here I'm doing this is my last piece, and then the junctions. But you get a little piece that's separated like this. Put it together, tape it together. You need to cut relief joints out that will fit like that. They basically, they kind of look like this, and you pinch the edge. You only need to pinch at what you run one end short, run one end long, pinch the edge, tape, and then supporting straps. I'll show you that in a second. And then periodically, you need to tape this seam long ways, and then periodically you need to wrap about every foot or so in order to support it. Because in time, the glue that binds this to the foam will break down in the heat and wet. And so it benefits greatly from some support. Don't we all? But it'll look like that when it's done. Pretty good wrap. I'm not sure what to do with this. This is my particle filter. And I think I don't need to worry about it, because it is easy enough to throw these into the off position and empty this. And this is air. It's empty air. So it is easy enough to come out here the night before freeze and flip it. 1 second. Let me finish that and we'll talk some more. There we go. Just like that. Yeah, so this is how I weather my pipes. Anyone who is super eagle-eyed will notice there's a wire coming out of that right there. That is disconnected. That disconnects the entire well. Therefore water falls down that column. So at this point I also emptied out much of the pressure by way of this thing. So as water expands, it'll expand into an empty tank that is capable of withstanding it. That's that. I gotta do a little bit up at the house. Do the same thing. My goodness, it's hot today. And yeah, probably, I don't know what else I'll do. Not much, that's for sure. What a scorcher. 2 days before a hard frost. Texas is weird.